Hello and welcome back everyone to the second read aloud video plus annotations, I think. For the second required reading was pages 11 through 36, so that is what we're going to do. This may be a little bit longer of a video, but since y'all sort of have a grasp on how to annotate now, we should be able to move a little bit quicker. So again, before you always read, look out for the format. This doesn't look anything crazy. I think Jordan Bell is a 2 pages. So as you see, there's, he's stalking him. It's all capitalized, parentheses right here. So the format isn't too crazy, but again, format isn't the only thing we annotate for. We also annotate for content. So let's get started. Jordan Bell. My twin brother is a baller. The only thing he loves more than basketball is betting. If it's 90 degrees outside and the sky is cloudless, he will bet you that it's going to rain. It's annoying and sometimes funny. Jordan insists that everyone call him JB. His favorite player is Michael Jordan, but he doesn't want people to think he's sweating him, even though he is. Evidence. He has one pair of Air Jordan sneakers for every month of the year, including Air Jordan 1 Low Barack Obama limited editions, which he never wears. Plus, he has MJ sheets and pillowcases, slippers, socks, underwear, notebooks, pencils, cups, hats, wristbands, and sunglasses. With the $50 he won from a bet, he and Dad made over whether the Krispy Kreme hot sign was on. It wasn't. He purchased a Michael Jordan toothbrush, only used once, on eBay. He's right. He's not sweating him. He's stalking him. Okay, so sorry for the little mishap right there, but this is that was Jordan Bell. This is a poem basically introducing more Josh Bell's twin brother, Jordan Bell, aka as he likes to be called, JB, and we're gonna call him JB for the rest of the book, okay? Because that's what his character likes to be called. So this is more of a look into JB and what he's about and his likes and dislikes. So again, I would annotate he was a twin brother. Again, he's also a basketball player. Again, another look into his characters. Things he loves more than basketball is betting, right? He is a betting man. He absolutely loves betting. If it's 90 degrees outside and the sky is cloudless, he will bet you that it's going to rain. That is a big look into Jordan or JB's character, right? He loves betting. He will bet on anything. Even though it looks like he may lose, he will still bet you. Another thing, big one, his favorite player is Michael Jordan, right? The GOAT, the greatest basketball player of all time to a lot of people. But again, he doesn't want people to know he's sweating it. He doesn't want people to know that he's obsessed with Michael Jordan, right? And then it says evidence, right? This is just Josh sharing with us what Jordan really has. And for y'all, I would honestly Google what the Air Jordan 1 Low Barack Obama limited editions look like, just to see. What else would I annotate? This right here is a list of all the things that JB has. Of MJ, Michael Jordan. From the bet. This is again a good event or event that happened in this poem that gives a really good look into JB's character, right? And also Chuck Bell, Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme is a big thing that keeps coming up in this book, so make note of that. Another thing that you could annotate for is Jordan loves going by JB, right? And one of the reasons that he loves going by JB is because, one, it is like a distinct thing from Josh, right? Another thing is a lot of people call Michael Jordan MJ, right? People don't really call him Michael or Jordan. A lot of people call him MJ. So that could be another thing that JB loves to emulate and admire about Michael and wants to be very similar with him about, is going by the initials, right? So they're just some of the things that you could annotate for. Again, underline he's stalking him. Again, that's format. So moving on. Next is on the way to the game. I'm banished to the back seat with JB, who only stops playing with my On the way to the game, I'm banished to the back seat with JB, who only stops playing with my locks when I slap him across his bald head with my jock strap. There's not much to annotate there. It's just an event that happens. Again, here's one of the first mentions of my locks. That's a very big thing that we've been covering during class. And as you can see, this gives another look into JB. JB is bald. There's the thing. And Josh has locks. And again, you can see that JB likes playing with Josh's hair. Again, this is a very big poem. We covered this individually in class. It is 5 reasons I have locks. And locks is a type of hair, is dreadlocks, okay? So 5. Some of my favorite rappers have them. Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, and Wale. 4. They make me feel like a king. 3. No one else on the team has them. And 2. It helps people know that I am me and not JB. But mostly because, 1. Ever since I watched the clip of Dad posterizing that 7-foot Croatian center on ESPN's Best Dunks Ever, soaring through the air, his long twisted hair like wings, carrying him high above the rim, I knew one day I'd need my own wings to fly. So as you can see from the format of this, right, it's just a list, right? And this right here is a different type of a poem that we covered in class. It is called a list poem. And if you want to look more into characteristics of list poems and more about that, please check out the lesson that has that where we talk about it, right? So you can make note of that format. This poem is really important because it gives it reasons why Josh has his hair and why he loves it so much, right? It gives into a sense of himself. We covered that in the lesson, so I'm not really going to go into it right here. Really right here, this whole thing could be annotated, but I'm not going to do that because it's going to be a mess. This whole poem gives a look into Josh's sense of self, right? Slash character, right? And also this gives a look into Chuck as well, because he was a former ball player, right? Former player. And this shows that Josh wants to be like his dad. He wants to be a professional basketball player and emulate him. He even emulated, his dad's hair. Emulate basically just means copy, right? So next one is Mom tells Dad. Mom tells Dad that he has to sit in the top row of the bleachers during the game. You're too confrontational, she says. Filthy, don't forget to follow through on your jump shot, Dad tells me. JB tells Mom, we're almost in high school, so no hugs before the game, please. Dad says, you boys ought to treasure your mother's love. My mom was like gold to me. Yeah, but your mom didn't come to all of your games, JB says. And she wasn't the assistant school principal either, I add. So this is a really big thing because it gives a look into Josh and JB's mother, and it gives a look into Chuck's character as well, right? Gives a look that Chuck always has to sit in the top row of the bleachers during the game, right? Because, again, he's too confrontational. He is way too passionate during the games. In the previous films, it says he stands up and yells. And he's having a great time cheering for his sons, and he coaches them during the games as well, right? As you can see right here. Filthy, don't forget to follow through on your jump shot. His dad likes to coach them. And again, this is also another big look into Chuck's personality, right? Again, this right here is a big look into his mom and the type of character she is. She loves her sons, okay? She's always there for them. As you can see, she always comes to all the games, and it looks into what their mother does as a job. She is the assistant school principal for their middle school, right? So, again, she is the authority figure in their life. Chuck, their dad is more of like a coach to them, a role model, the easygoing parent. Their mom is the authority figure. She is the boss. She lays the groundwork down, and she, keeps Chuck in check, and she keeps her 2 sons in check as well. So next is conversation. Dad, do you miss playing basketball, I ask? Like Jazz misses Dizzy, he says. Huh? Like hip-hop misses Tupac, Filthy, he says. Oh, but you're still young. You could probably still play, right? My playing days are over, son. My job now is to take care of this family. Don't you get bored sitting around the house all day? You could get a job or something. Filthy, what's all this talk about a job? You don't think your old man knows how to handle his business? Boy, I saved my basketball money. This family is fine. Yeah, I miss basketball a lot, and I do have some feelers out there about coaching, but honestly, right now, I'm fine coaching this house and keeping up with you and your brother. Now go get JB so we won't be late to the game and Coach benches you. Why don't you ever wear your championship ring? Is this Jeopardy or something? What's with the questions? Yeah, I wear it when I want to floss, Dad smiles. Can I wear it to school once? Can you bounce a ball on the roof off a tree in the hoop? No. Then I guess you're not the man. Only the man wears the ring. Oh, come on, Dad. Tell you what, you bring home the trophy this year and we'll see. Thanks, Dad. You know if you get bored, you could always write a book like Vondi's mom did. She wrote one about spaceships. A book? What would you have me write? What would you have me write about? Maybe a book of those rules you give me and JB before each of our games. I'm the Man by Chuck Bell, Dad laughs. That's lame, Dad, I say. Who you calling lame? Dad says, headlocking me. Dad, tell me again why they called you the Man. Filthy. Back in the day, I was the boss, never lost. I had the sickest double cross, and I kissed so many pretty ladies they called me lip gloss. Oh, really, Mom says, sneaking up on us like she always seemed to do. Yeah, you the man, Dad, I laugh, then throw my gym bag in the trunk. So that was conversation. This is a really important poem because it's basically just dialogue, Chuck and Josh talking between each other, right? And this gives a really important look into Chuck's character. We jazz Mrs. Dizzy, like hip-hop Mrs. Tupac. Again, that is an example of a simile, is how much Chuck misses basketball, right? And again, he says, my playing days are over. My job now is to take care of this family. Again, a look into what Chuck does. He's a stay-at-home dad that likes taking care of his family, right? Look into what, again, Chuck saved all of his basketball money. This family is fine. He has a look into the family, right? He says he misses basketball a lot. And again, Chuck has some feelers about coaching. Maybe he wants to go into coaching, but again, he just wants to take care of his family for right now, right? What else? This right here, championship ring, that's a big thing in the story. It lets you know that Chuck has won a championship in his career and that he wants the same out of his sons, right? And instead of just saying no, he says, can you bounce a ball off the roof in the hoop? Gives a look into Chuck's character, right? And then right here, the man, the ring. The Man is Chuck's nickname, and the Man's going to come up a lot in this book. So right now, 2 nicknames have been introduced. One is Filthy McNasty, that's Josh's nickname, and 2 is the Man, that's Chuck's nickname. So whenever time you see the Man, you're talking about Chuck, right? What else? Again, the Man comes up again. And back in the day, I was the boss, the Man, and this gives a reason of why he got nicknamed the Man, right? He previously called me lip gloss. And again, this is a good thing to annotate because it gives you a look into how Chuck talks and his personality, right? And this is a really good thing about his mother. It says, sneaking up on us like she always seemed to do. She likes to sneak up on her kids and figure out what they're talking about because, again, she is the authority figure, the man, right? Some of the things I'm going to annotate. Next is basketball rule number 1. In this game of life, your family is the court and the heart is your ball. No matter how good you are, no matter how down you get, always leave your heart on the court. So basketball rule number 1 goes back to some of the rules that Chuck gives to Josh and JB before games, right? That's the thing that Josh wants his dad to write about if he ever did a book. And what this entire thing is an example of is a metaphor. Right, so we've really only come across similes so far, but this is our first example of a metaphor. What this is comparing, and we did a lesson over this today, is in your 924 folder, is comparing life, right, and is comparing it to a basketball game. Ball game, right, is comparing game of life, this game of life, and it also compares family to a basketball court, and your heart to a basketball. And it says, no matter how good you get, no matter how down you get, always leave your heart on the court. So that's basically saying No matter where you are in life, no matter how happy you are, no matter how sad you are, how high, how low, always leave your heart with your family, right? Always be there for your family, because family will always be there for you, right? Again, that's an example of a metaphor or an extended metaphor. That's some of the things I would annotate. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to speed it up, right? Again, looking at the format, I'm not seeing anything crazy here. So JB and I. JB and I are almost 13, twins, 2 basketball goals at opposite ends of the court, identical. It's easy to tell us apart, though. I'm an inch taller with dreads to my neck. He gets his head shaved once a month. I want to go to Duke. He flaunts Carolina blue. If we didn't love each other, we'd hate each other. He's a shooting guard. I play forward. JB's the second most phenomenal baller on our team. He has the best jumper, but I'm the better slasher and much faster. We both pass well, especially to each other. To get ready for the season, I went to 3 summer camps. JB only went to 1. Said he didn't want to miss Bible school. What does he think? I'm stupid? Ever since Kim Bazemore kissed him in Sunday school, he's been acting all religious, thinking less and less about basketball and more about girls. Again, I would emphasize girls because, again, the format, hate. So this, again, is a metaphor. It's comparing JB and Josh to 2 basketball goals at the opposite ends of the court. They look similar, but again, they're on 2 different sides, and they're different, right? It says identical. It's easy to tell us apart, though. So it gives us a look into JB and Josh's character and how they're similar and different. So Josh is an inch taller with dreads to his neck, his locks, and JB is bald. He gets his head shaved once a month. Josh wants to go to Duke. JB wants to go to North Carolina, UNC, right? They're rivals, right? Again, he says if we didn't love each other, we'd hate each other. They're different positions that they play. JB's the second most phenomenal baller on their team, so Josh thinks that he's the best basketball player on the basketball team. Their differences in their playing style. JB is a better shooter, but Josh is better at running to the rim and finishing at the rim. And he's faster, right? And again, this gives a look into JB's character because it shows that he's more interested in girls than Josh is, because Josh is always focused on basketball. So next, at the end of warm-ups, my brother tries to dunk. Not even close, JB. What's the matter? Did the hoop too high for you? I snicker, but it's not funny to him, especially when I take off from center court, my hair like wings, each lock lifting me higher and higher, like a 747. Zoom, zoom. I throw down so hard the fiberglass trembles. Booyah, Dad screams from the top row. I'm the only kid on the team who can do that. The gym is loud. The gym is a loud, crowded circus. My stomach is a roller coaster. My head a carousel. The air heavy with the smell of sweat, popcorn, and the sweet perfume of Mother's Watching Sons. Our mom, a.k.a. Dr. Bell, a.k.a. the principal, is talking to some of the teachers on the other side of the gym. I'm feeling better already. Coach calls us in, does his Phil Jackson impression. Love ignites the spirit, brings teams together, he says. JB and I glance at each other, ready to bust out laughing. But Vondi, our best friend, beats us to it. The whistle goes off. Players gather at center circle. Dap each other, pound each other. Referee tosses the jump ball. Game on. So, this is a really important poem as well. So it gives a look into the characters again. JB cannot dunk, right? Remember, he's the better shooter. Again, this mentions my hair like wings, right? Remember, we saw that from the list poem. And remember, the format, zoom, zoom, emphasize that. Again, higher, 747 is a type of plane. Again, that is a simile, like a 747, so annotate that. Booyah, slang, gives a look into Chuck's character. This look gives a look into JB, or Josh's character. He's the only kid on the team that can dunk the ball. That's a big thing. Here's a metaphor that you could annotate. The gym is a loud, crowded circus. Again, another one, my stomach is a roller coaster. My head a carousel. This is a descriptive and sensory words. Remember, this appeals to our 5 senses, mostly smell. So it lets you feel like you're there in person. Again, this gives a look into their mom, right? Our mom, aka Dr. Bell, aka the assistant principal. I would highlight Phil Jackson. He was a basketball coach. He coached Shaq, Kobe, and Michael Jordan, MJ. I think that is it that I would annotate for that. Again, that is a very important one to annotate, right? And this is some of the stuff that I would annotate as we're going along. Because remember, these poems are full of sensory and descriptive words and figurative language. Next, the sportscaster. JB likes to taunt, trash talk during games, like Dad used to do when he played. When I walk into the court, I prefer silence, so I can watch, react, surprise. I talk too, but mostly to myself, like sometimes when I do my own play-by-play in my head. So, some of the things I would highlight is JB likes to taunt, trash talk during games, like Dad used to do. This gives a look into JB and Chuck's character, right? They both trash talked whenever they play basketball. But Josh, he prefers silence, so he can, again, watch, react, surprise. And again, he does his own play-by-play in his head whenever he plays. That gives a look into the male members of the Bell family, right? So here we go, Josh's play-by-play. It's game 3 for the 2-0 Wildcats. Right? They are undefeated. Number 17, Vondi Little, grabs it. Nothing little about that kid. The Wildcats have it. First play of the game. The hopes are high tonight at Reggie Lewis Junior High. We destroyed Hoover Middle last week, 32 to 4. And we won't stop, can't stop, till we claim the championship trophy. Vondi overhead passes me. I fling a quick chest pass to my twin brother JB, number 23, a.k.a. The Jumper. I seen him launch it from 30 feet before. All net. That boy is special, and it doesn't hurt that Chuck, the man Bell, is his father. Mine too. JB bounces the ball to me. JB's a shooter, but I'm sneaky and silky like as a snake. And you thought my hair was long. I'm 6 feet, all legs. And wow, did you see that nasty crossover? Now you can see why they call me filthy. Folks, I hope you got your tickets because I'm about to put on a show. Again, that was all in Josh's head. Remember, he likes to do a play-by-play as he plays. This I would highlight because, again, that is the name of their middle school. Vondi Little is their teammate, right? Reggie Lewis Junior High is the name of their junior high, and the Hoover Middle is a team that they just played. What else? Overhead passes me the ball. I would annotate that because, again, that's descriptive sensory language. That is a very specific verb. Instead of just saying passes or throws me the ball, he used overhead passes. So you can picture Vondi having the ball above his head and passing it to Josh that way, right? Again, another example of that is a quick chest pass. Right here you can see that JB's number is 23, and here's introduction to JB's nickname, The Jumper. So there's 3 nicknames that have been introduced right now. Again, you see all net. That is a basketball term. That means the ball that he shot hit nothing but net. It didn't hit rim at all. It was a swoosh, right? There's the man. Again, bounces. Silky as a snake is an example of a simile, right? Again, and then we see Josh's height. He is 6 feet tall. So you can picture Josh a little bit better. Again, the format of that, nasty. You can see why they call me Filthy McNasty, right? So those are some of the things I would annotate. So next is crossover. And as you can see right here, the format, the title is different, right? It looks like a dictionary, right? And this is what we call a definition poem. So this is a different poem type that we see. So far that we've seen 2 poem types, right? So far we've seen 2 poem types, list poem and now definition poem. So a definition poem, you're going to see the format as I read it, okay? Crossover. Here's how you pronounce it, crossover, noun. A simple basketball move in which a player dribbles the ball quickly from one hand to another. As in, when done right, a crossover can break an opponent's ankles. As in, Darren Williams' crossover is nice, but Allen Iverson's crossover was so deadly he could have set up his own podiatry practice. As in, Dad taught me how to give a soft cross first to see if your opponent falls for it, and then hit him with the hard crossover. So again, as you see the format, this right here is the definition. Again, definition poem, right? These are all examples. These are all examples. And that's the format of a definition poem, especially in this book. So you see, as in when done right, crossover can break an opponent's ankles, and breaking opponent's ankles is a basketball term. That means as you're dribbling, a crossover, you send the opponent to the ground. They trip and you break their ankles. Darren Williams is a basketball player, and Allen Iverson is also a basketball player. They're known for their crossover. Could set up his own podiatry practice. Podiatrists focus on ankles and feet. So he's saying that it's so deadly he could have set up it because he broke so many ankles. He would have had to fix them, right? And again, this is an example of how his dad, Chuck Bell, was the one that taught him how to use the crossover. And again, before you read, remember, always look at the format. You see the capitalization, the hook right here, right? And then alley-oop right there. So, a quick shoulder shake, a slick eye fake. Number 28 is way past late. He's reading me like a book, but I turn the page and watch him look, which can only mean I got him shook. His feet are the bank and I'm the crook. Breaking. Take him to the left and now he's took. Number 14 joins in. Now he's on the hook. I got 2 in my kitchen and I'm fixing to cook. Prepping my meal ready for glass. Nobody's expecting filthy to pass. I see Bondi under the hoop, so I serve him up my alley-oop. So again, the format, emphasize the words that are capitalized. And this basically isn't a poem showing what Filthy is doing to the other team, right? He's doing the crossovers. He's got him shook. Right? His feet are the bank. I'm the crook. A metaphor. And then you see breaking. They sound the same, different meanings though, right? And then you see the format right there, cook. I got 2 in my kitchen and I'm fixing to cook. That's a metaphor, right? So I serve him up. Again, that's another metaphor. Prepping my meal ready for glass. And so again, remember, this is how you annotate, right? Look for metaphors, look for figurative language, like similes, metaphors, and then the format, right? Annotate the format for emphasis. And then, just sensory, just word choices after that, right? We are almost done. The bet part 1. We're down by 7 at halftime. Trouble owns our faces, but coach isn't worried. Says we haven't found our rhythm yet. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Bondi starts dancing the snake. Only he looks like a seal. Then coach blasts his favorite dance music, and before you know it, we're all doing the cha-cha slide. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. 1 hop this time. Right foot. Let's stomp. JB high-fives me with a familiar look. You want to bet, don't you? I ask. Yep, he says, then touches my hair. So it gives a look into the team and what they're about. So again, trouble owns our faces. Coach isn't worried. Coach is very confident in their team. That a snake is a type of dance. It looks like a seal, simile. Cha-cha slide is a type of dance, and these are the lyrics, right? Y'all may be a little bit too young for the cha-cha slide. But again, remember, want to bet? Remember, JB loves to bet, and Josh and JB are so close that Josh can just tell that he wants to bet because of one look. Again, my hair touches my hair. It's going to come up soon. An ode to my hair. An ode we went over in class earlier is a type of poem. So again, that's another poem type. If my hair were a tree, I'd climb it. I'd kneel down beneath and enshrine it. I'd treat it like gold and then mine it. Each day before school, I unwind it. And right before games, I entwine it. These locks on my head, I designed it. And one last thing, if you don't mind it, that bet you just made, I decline it. So again, we went over ode earlier, so I'm not going to go into the characteristics yet, or right now, because you can just go back in the previous lesson and watch it. So, my hair were a tree, I'd climb it, that's a metaphor. Treat it like gold, then mine it. Again, that's a simile. And these are just the actions, verbs that he does, and those are remember, not that one, got carried away. And those are just descriptive sensory language words, again, verbs that show you what Josh would do with his hair, right? Again, he loves his hair. Loves it. And that equals his sense of self. It makes up who he is. He was saying that if his hair was let's see, this is Josh, and this is his hair, right? For a tree, right? You would climb a tree, right? Some people climb trees for fun, stuff like that. So he's saying if his hair was a tree, he would climb it, right? He loves his hair so much that he would climb his hair, and then if it were like gold, he would mine it. So this is basically just showing how much he loves his hair, right? The bet part 2. Remember, format, right? All of this is capitalized. If I lose the bet, you want to what? The score gets tied, he says, and if it comes down to one last shot, he says, and if I get the ball, he says, and if I don't miss, he says, I get to cut off your hair. Sure, I say, as serious as a heart attack, you can cut my locks off, but if I win the bet, you have to walk around with no pants and no underwear tomorrow in school during lunch. Bondi and the rest of the fellas laugh like hyenas. Not to be outdone, JB revises the bet. Okay, he says, how about if you lose, I cut one lock, and if you win, I will moon that nerdy group of 6th graders that sit near our table at lunch. Even though I used to be one of those nerdy 6th graders, even though I love the way the hair, I love my hair the way Dad loves Krispy Kreme, even though I don't want us to lose the game, odds are this is one of JB's legendary bets I'll win, because that's a lot of ifs. So that was the second to last poem in this read aloud video. It's a very important one. Remember, format, emphasis, right? And this is all just dialogue, right? JB explaining what he wants to do. The bet is he gets to cut off his hair. Serious as a heart attack. That is a simile. What else? Laugh like hyenas. Again, another simile. And again, if this poem is very long, so what you can do is break it down. You can just read this part, annotate that, and whenever you figure out the meaning and everything like that, you can move on to the next part. And then whenever you're done with that, you can move on to this part. That's called chunking, right? You don't have to read the whole thing and annotate the entire thing. You can do it in parts. Again, he revises the bet, right? This is still the bet. And this is a look into JB's or Josh's personality and what he likes. So he said, I used to be one of those nerdy 6th graders. Again, look into his personality. I love the way Dad loves Krispy Kreme. Look into Chuck as well. Remember, Krispy Kreme came back up again. And this is the reason that Josh is willing to take the bet. It's a lot of ifs, so you should definitely win it, right? Here's the last poem. The game is tied. When JB's soft jumper sails, tick, through the air, talk. The crowd stills, tick, mouths drop, talk. When his last second tick hits net, talk. The clock stops. The gym explodes. Its hard bleachers empty and my head aches. So, as you can see, the format, right? Tick-tock, it's a clock. Great format that the author uses right there. And in between is events of JB shooting the last second shot. He says, soft jumper sails through the air, the crowd slows, mouths drop, hits net. That means he made it in, nothing but net, right? Swish. Again, the clock stops, gym explodes, so the crowd is celebrating right here. Celebrating because JB hit the last second shot, so you know what that means. Josh lost the bet, and his hair must be cut. Right? So this was the second read aloud video and annotation. I know it was a lot longer one. We got through like 35 pages. So that is it for this one, and I will see you here next for the next one, okay?